Minha Filha me Deixou Presa Sem Comida. Ok, Ela Dizia me Deixou Apavorado. The room was dark, the air thick with dread. A single bulb flickered, barely illuminating the corners where shadows danced like specters. A shrill scream pierced the silence, echoing down the empty hallways of the old house. It belonged to Lena, a mother trapped in a nightmare of her own making. She could scarcely draw a breath, every inhalation tightening her chest like a vice. Her daughter, Emma, stood across from her, a cold smile spreading across her face. What sinister thoughts brewed in that young mind? Lena's stomach tightened with fear. She had seen the signs, Emma's whispered conversations behind closed doors, the late-night clattering that echoed through the walls. Something was brewing, something dark that twisted in the pit of Lena's gut. She could almost taste the bitterness of betrayal on her tongue. And now, here she was, locked away, the door bolted from the outside. The walls felt alive, closing in like the jaws of a trap. She remembered Emma as a sweet child, her laughter ringing like bells, but now that innocence had been replaced with a chilling edge. "Mommy, you'll understand soon," Emma had said earlier, her voice dripping with false sweetness. Why was this happening? What had Lena done to deserve such a terrifying turn? Panic surged through Lena as she banged on the door. "Let me out. Emma, please." She could hear her own voice shatter in desperation. Outside, muffled laughs and whispers ghosted through, feeding her dread. Were they mocking her? Or was Emma weaving some bizarre plan that Lena didn't understand? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. Lena's heart raced as she pressed her ear against the door, straining to hear what was happening outside. There was a pause, then it hit her like a freight train, the sound of footsteps retreating. What was Emma planning? Was this all part of some twisted game? The thought sent shivers down Lena's spine, the chill wrapping around her like a freezing blanket. As seconds turned into minutes, the reality of her situation blended with surreal dread. What if no one came for her? What if Emma's smile was just the beginning of something much more sinister? Fear lit a fire inside her, fueling her need to escape. She couldn't let this happen. But the question loomed large in her mind, echoing off the walls of her panic: what would Emma say next? And more importantly, what would Lena do when their paths crossed again? Lena's heart thudded against her ribs, each beat a drum of despair that echoed in the tiny, suffocating room. The air grew stale, thickened by fear, and her mind raced through every moment leading to this. What had she missed? What had pushed Emma to this brink? The rattling of a doorknob suddenly broke through her thoughts, making her stomach lurch. "Mommy." Emma's voice, sweet yet laced with something unmistakable, slithered through the keyhole. "Are you ready to listen?" Lena recoiled from the door. This wasn't her daughter. It was as if someone had wrapped a dark shroud around the little girl she once knew. The calmness in Emma's tone chilled her, and the flicker of the bulb cast eerie shadows on the walls, morphing into grotesque shapes. "Emma, please. Let me out," Lena shouted, her voice breaking. "Let us talk about this. I can help you." But deep down, she doubted her words would reach her daughter if this creature truly was Emma. A silence fell heavily for moments that stretched like eternity. Then came the sound of shifting, followed by a soft knock on the door that made Lena's skin crawl. "Mommy, I'm so sorry I had to do this. You wouldn't understand, not yet. You need to let me show you." Lena's fingers curled into fists as anger surged within her. "Show me what? What have you done?" She pounded on the door, a futile act of defiance against the prison Emma had crafted. "Just wait." Emma's voice turned dark, almost hypnotic. "You'll see everything clearly soon. Just hold on a little longer. Lena sank to the floor, despair washing over her. The weight of her daughter's words crashed into her, twisting her stomach into knots. What did Emma know? What clarity was she speaking of? Could Lena have been so blind as to not see her daughter's descent into darkness? Her mind spiraled, chasing wild thoughts. Suddenly, the lock clicked, and Lena's breath caught. The door creaked open slowly, revealing not her daughter but a figure she barely recognized. Emma stood framed in the doorway, eyes glistening with a dangerous gleam. Shadows clung to her, giving her an almost ethereal quality. "Come, Mommy," she beckoned, her smile unnerving. "It's time for you to learn the truth." Lena hesitated, fear anchoring her in place. "No. I want to go with you." "Not like this." But Emma stepped forward, and with each step, Lena felt a mixture of dread and curiosity propelling her. The hall was dimly lit, each flickering bulb casting a strobe-like effect that twisted the atmosphere. Lena's instinct screamed at her to run, to escape this nightmare. Emma's hand, cold as ice, closed around her wrist, urging her forward. As they walked through the eerie silence of the house, time felt suspended, thick with the weight of unspoken words. Lena's heart raced as she tried to catch glimpses of the world outside her captivity. Were there others? Had Emma involved other people in whatever sinister plan she had? "Where are you taking me?" Lena gasped, half rattled, half intrigued. "Somewhere you will finally see, Mommy, see how everything you believe is a lie." Emma's voice dripped with conviction, her grip tightening just enough to remind Lena of her precarious situation. They stopped before a door at the end of a long hallway, one Lena had never noticed before. "This is it," Emma announced, her voice barely above a whisper. A flicker of excitement danced in her eyes. "What's behind there?" Lena asked, her pulse hammering. "A world of answers, but you may not like what you find with that." Emma swung open the door, and a rush of cold air swept through, stirring memories of forgotten fears. Lena hesitated, her breath catching in her throat as she peered inside, her heart pounding as the shadows shifted ominously. But what awaited her on the other side? What horrors had Emma uncovered in her quest for truth? As Lena's gaze met the darkness beyond, one chilling thought pierced through her: would she truly be ready for the revelations that lay ahead? The cold air pulled Lena closer to the threshold, whispering secrets that felt both intimate and terrifying. Emma's grip remained unyielding as she led her mother into the unknown. The shadows swallowed them whole, and the door creaked shut behind them, plunging the world outside into silence. The dim light revealed a large, dusty room cluttered with strange, unrecognizable objects. It looked like an abandoned workshop, the walls lined with jars filled with unsettling contents, peculiar trinkets, scraps of paper, and faded photographs. Each detail flickered briefly in the dull light, then faded into obscurity again, as if the room itself was reluctant to reveal its secrets. "What is this place?" Lena croaked, her voice barely above a whisper. Emma's smile widened, illuminating her features with an eerie glow that made Lena's stomach roll. "This is where we hide the truth, Mommy. It's where everything started." A wave of nausea washed over Lena as her gaze fell on the shelves holding remnants of lives lived and lost. "What truth? What do you mean?" "Everything you've known is a sham," Emma replied, her tone growing fervent. "You need to understand what I've discovered. The world isn't as simple as you think, and neither are we." Lena took a step back, heart racing like a wild animal trying to escape. Was this really her daughter? Or had something sinister taken hold of her? All of this. Emma gestured around the room, and Lena couldn't help but notice the manic glint in her daughter's eyes. "It represents the lies you taught me. The boundaries you set. The secrets you hid. It's time for you to acknowledge them." Lena's mind spiraled. Memories flooded her thoughts, hushed conversations, shadows in the corners of rooms, odd happenings that had always been brushed aside. "You've been digging into things you shouldn't, Emma. It's dangerous. We need to get out of here." Her voice cracked, panic creeping its way back in, but Emma shook her head. "No. You need to look. It's vital. The truth might be unsettling, but it's necessary." Before Lena could respond, Emma reached for one of the jars and pulled it close. Inside, something wriggled, a creature with too many limbs, translucent and glistening. Lena gasped as it sloshed against the glass, clawing at its confines like a trapped soul. Everything you held dear, everything you trusted is built on the back of things like this. Emma's voice dropped to a nearly conspiratorial whisper. You have to see what lies beyond your narrow view of the world. Stop it, Emma. Lena's voice rose in desperation, but her words hung in the stale air like futile echoes. You need help. But Emma's eyes glistened with a fervor that both terrified and fascinated Lena. It was a mix of defiance and desperation, and for the first time, Lena wondered if perhaps Emma's transformation held more shades of truth than she cared to admit. As Emma moved deeper into the room, Lena followed, compelled against her instincts. Each step revealed more dark curiosities, a mirror reflecting moments from Lena's past, distorting her memories with eerie accuracy, each image twisting her gut. Look closer. Emma's voice was now a soft chant, and Lena felt an inexplicable pull toward the collection of memories displayed like trophies. Then, among the disarray, a single photograph captured Lena's attention. It was a family portrait, happier times. Then she noticed something else, looming shadows behind them, whispers of figures Lena couldn't recognize. Her heart plummeted. Who are they, Emma? She thrust out, jolting with dread, but before Emma could answer, footsteps echoed from outside the room, heavy and deliberate. Lena's heart dropped. Who else knew about this place? Who else had been involved? Mommy. Emma's voice lowered dangerously. It seems like curiosity is about to cost us dear. As the door swung open again, revealing a silhouette shrouded in darkness, Lena's body tensed with instinctual terror. Who was it? What secrets had Emma unearthed that had drawn others into this darkness? Time to learn the truth, someone said, and just like that, Lena realized she might not be prepared for the answers that lay ahead. A figure stepped into the hazy light, and Lena's breath hitched. It was a man, tall with an air of authority that seeped from his every pore. His face was obscured by shadows, but the chill of recognition slithered up Lena's spine. This was someone from her past, someone she thought she had escaped. Emma, he said, regarding her with a strange mixture of pride and concern. You've done well to bring your mother here. Lena's instinct was to bolt, to scream, but the fear rooted her in place like a deer caught in headlights. Who are you? She croaked, her voice trembling. Memories flickered like a dying bulb, heated arguments, a cold stare piercing through her defenses. Just a friend, or perhaps a mentor? The man tilted his head defiantly. Truth is a harsh teacher, isn't it? Emma stepped closer to him, a gleam in her eyes. I had to show her, didn't I? You said it was the only way. I didn't ask for any of this. Lena shouted, her voice cracking, panic surging through her. Let her go. A smile cracked the man's stern facade, but it didn't reach his eyes. Oh, but you're wrong. She's just beginning to understand the power that lies within her. The power that you were always too afraid to embrace. Lena's chest ached, a lump forming in her throat. Her mind raced. The walls felt like they were closing in. What had Emma done? What had she been taught? There's no way to unlearn the truth, Emma interjected, her voice steady and chilling. You always tried to keep me from it, Mom. But now, you'll see this is who we are. It's what we are. Accept it. In a flash, the room transformed. The jars on the shelves seemed to pulse with life, shadows swirling inside as if they were alive and beckoning for Lena's attention. Get away from her. Lena shouted, her voice a raw mix of terror and desperation. But Emma stood firm next to the man, and Lena could see a spark of something darker in her daughter's eyes. It was as if the girl she raised had been replaced by something else, something dangerous and determined. Suddenly, the jars rattled, and one shattered against the floor, spilling its contents, a writhing mass of creatures that scuttled away into the corners. Lena felt bile rise in her throat. Stop this. She begged, but her words fell flat against the growing din. It's only the beginning, the man said ominously, his voice echoing off the walls as the chaos grew. You're about to discover things about your lineage that will shake the very foundation of your beliefs. The truth can be a beautiful or a horrific thing. Emma took a step forward, her arm outstretched. Let go of your fear, Mommy. It's time to embrace what we truly are. For the first time, as Lena looked into her daughter's eyes, she felt a trembling fear deep down and understanding that Emma was no longer under her protection. The shadows wrapped around them, thickening with every heartbeat. Mommy. Emma's voice now possessed an eerie resonance, pulling at Lena's core. Join us. Lena's heart slammed in her chest. The truth loomed like a tidal wave ready to crash over her. In that moment, an undeniable instinct told her that this path led nowhere good. It was a truth tinged with danger, darkness lurking at its edges. Don't let them take you, Emma. Lena's voice cracked, desperation spilling over as she stepped backward, wanting to escape, needing to escape. But was Emma too far gone? Would she ever come back? The air thickened as the shadows shifted, closing in like a vice. You can't escape what's coming, the man whispered, a triumphant smirk creeping across his face. Lena braced herself, feeling the room pulse with unholy energy, knowing she was standing at the precipice of something terrible. As her gaze darted between the unsettling contents surrounding her and the figure standing before her, Lena's heart quickened. What was about to unfold could change everything she thought she knew then. From the darkness, a hissing whisper broke through the chaos, sending her reeling. The real truth is about to be laid bare, and it's not what you expect. Lena steeled herself as the shadows danced closer, ready to drag her into their world of uncertainty. What awaited her in the unknown? Lena's heart raced, every beat echoing the dread flooding her veins. She shifted her gaze from Emma's twisted smile to the man next to her, searching for a glimmer of hope, a shred of humanity. But there was nothing. The shadows gripped tighter, leaking coldness into her core. Emma, she forced out, her voice a mere whisper. You don't have to do this. Please, come back to me. But Emma simply laughed, a sound that clawed at Lena's insides. It was devoid of warmth, replaced by an unsettling calm. Mom, you just don't understand. You've always suppressed what's inside you. I need to embrace it. We need to embrace it. Embrace what? Lena shouted, fear slicing through her frustration. This chaos? These monsters? Chaos is where power lies, the man interrupted, his voice smooth and chilling. You've lived in the shadows of fear for too long. Now it's time to step into the light or drown in it. The room swirled, the air thick with a heavy, unnameable pressure. The shards of glass from the shattered jars glinted like countless eyes watching, each one holding their breath in anticipation. Lena backed away, but the shadows closed in, and the walls seemed to pulse, taunting her. Mommy, you can't hide forever, Emma said, her voice a haunting melody. The truth is waiting. You need to stop fighting it. With a surge of defiance, Lena forced herself to stand firm. This isn't who you are, Emma. You're just a girl trapped in this madness. A flicker of hesitation danced in Emma's eyes, but it vanished just as quickly. You need to stop pretending, Mom. The truth is more powerful than you can handle. It's liberating. Liberating? Lena breathed, incredulity piercing through her fear. What do you think this is? This is darkness, not freedom. Freedom is a choice, the man cut in, his tone laced with a hidden agenda. And the time for choice is dwindling. Bloodline, lineage, and power, these are what set you free. Your denial won't stop what's coming. As if summoned by his words, a shadow flickered forward, shifting like smoke caught in a forgotten breeze. It reached out towards Lena, and instinctually she ducked, feeling a wave of cold wash over her skin. No! She screamed, the desperation clawing at her throat. The figure recoiled, laughter echoing as it pulled back. Foolishness! You think fear protects you? It binds you. A sudden noise erupted behind Lena, and she turned to see the rest of the jars following suit, shattering one by one. Streams of shadowy figures slithered forth, writhing without form. Scuttling across the floor, they hissed and whispered, their voices a symphony of confusion and terror. "Mom, you have to let them in," Emma urged. "They're part of us." The shadows twisted around her feet, and Lena stumbled back, struggling to regain her balance. "I don't want this," she yelled, the walls literally closing in. "Too late." The man laughed, amused by her turmoil. "You think you can run from your blood? You're tied to it by more than just love." Feeling the walls suffocating her, Lena could hear her heartbeat thrumming in her ears. The very foundation of her being trembled as cracks spread across her perception of reality. "What do you mean?" she whispered, her mind grappling with the implications. He stepped closer, shadows rising behind him, twisting in dark currents. "You have a choice, Lena. Either embrace the truth, or perish in the dark. But know this, what you discover will change everything." Lena's breath hitched, a dawning realization settling in her gut. Her daughter was unwillingly entangled in something much greater, far darker than she could have imagined. "Emma," she breathed, fear intertwining with something deeper, a desperate need to save the girl she knew. But before she could gather the strength to fight, a colossal shadow lunged, intent on engulfing her whole. "Run, Mommy!" Emma shouted, but it was too late. As Lena felt the shadows close in, wrapping like tendrils around her waist, she realized there was no easy escape. The darkness whispered sweet promises in her ear, offering salvation and power if only she would surrender. Was she strong enough to resist? In that overwhelming moment, she became acutely aware of an even darker truth lurking just beneath the surface, waiting to be unearthed. What was she truly capable of? With the shadows swirling around her, Lena understood the real fight was yet to come. The question wasn't just about survival anymore, it was about power, choice, and unraveling the very identity she had fought so hard to protect. What would she surrender? What would she become? The shadows lunged forward with an insatiable hunger, wrapping around Lena like cold smoke. A chill seeped through her bones as she felt their pulse alive, sentient, aware. They pulled tighter, their sibilant whispers twisting around her thoughts, promising unimaginable power if she would only yield to them. "Embrace us," they hissed, melding into a terrible chorus. "Release your fear." But beneath the suffocating gloom, a spark ignited within her, a flicker of resolve ignited by the memory of Emma's laughter. "You don't know who I am," Lena shouted defiantly, though her voice quivered with uncertainty. The shadows hissed, recoiling for a moment, as if her words stung. The man stepped forward, his eyes gleaming with sadistic pleasure. "Oh, but we do, Lena. You have darkness swirling inside you, and it's only a matter of time before you let it out." His hand gestured towards Emma, who stood motionless, her gaze locked on her mother, a mix of expectation and something darker flickering beneath the surface. Lena couldn't tear her gaze from Emma. The girl she had raised, who giggled at bedtime stories and twirled in the sunlight, was now drifting between reality and something twisted and corrupting. "Emma, fight!" Lena cried, reaching out, desperate to bridge the gap. "Please." Emma's lips curled into a smile, eerily serene, yet her eyes glinted with unfathomable depth. "Mom, this is who I am now. And who you can be too." With every word, the shadows pulsated, growing bolder, swarming like ants drawn to a feast. Lena's chest tightened further, she could almost feel their breath, frigid and taunting. "You'll feel free," the man added, his voice coiling seductively around her like a warm embrace. "No." Lena spat, clenching her fists. "I won't let you take her. I won't let you take me." That word "me" echoed in her mind as it surged to the forefront. Wasn't that what this was all about? The endless battle between who she was and who she was becoming. She began to exploit the fracturing light of that realization, pushing back against the shadows, using every ounce of her will to resist their nagging pull. Suddenly, she sensed the retreating shadows trembling, their laughter sputtering into disbelief. She wasn't trapped, she had the power to fight back. Lena let the memories of love fill her, illuminating the recesses of her heart. "Your darkness can't define me," she shouted, her resolve blazing like wildfire. With that proclamation, she surged forward, breaking free of the shadowy grasp. The shadows writhed and twisted, and for a moment, the man staggered back, his confidence flickering. "Mom! Don't!" Emma screamed, panic surging as the shadows seemed to falter. "Don't abandon me." Lena froze, torn between fear for her daughter and the exhilarating rush of freedom surging through her. "Emma, I'm not abandoning you. I'm fighting for you." But the man's laughter cut through the tension like a knife. "You're so naive, Lena. The truth will come for her. You can't shield her forever." In that moment, the shadows lunged at her again, their fury ignited by her defiance. Lena felt the air thicken. She had defied them, yet their force was stronger than she anticipated. Visions of Emma twisted and distorted in her mind. A glimpse of the girl consumed by darkness flashed before her, and Lena's heart shattered. The fight was about far more than herself. It was about Emma's very soul. "I want to let go." Lena screamed, a promise resonating in her voice, and she pushed closer to Emma. But as her daughter raised her hands, pleading and trembling, the shadows tightened in warning. The man's smile deepened, madness glinting in his eyes. "Time is of the essence, Lena. Will you succumb or save her?" A gauntlet lay before her, a choice that could unearth untold horrors or unleash unfathomable power. With the darkness swirling ominously, she panted heavily, realizing this battle was just beginning. What would she do when the shadows encircled her again? Would she embrace the chaos, or would she forge her own light in the face of overwhelming darkness? In that conflict of love and fear, a deeper truth pushed its way to the surface. Something she had never anticipated could change everything. The question was clear. What would she choose to save Emma? The shadows pulled with an unyielding grip, a vortex of dread that threatened to swallow Lena whole. It was as if the fabric of reality twisted and turned within their grasp, each shuddering pulse rallying closer. The man hovered just behind the darkness, an architect of despair, watching as hope battled against fear. "Mom, please," Emma's voice sliced through the chaos, desperate and broken, a haunting echo of her childlike innocence now distorted by shadows. "You don't have to." Every ounce of Lena's being screamed to break free, to reach Emma, for that final touch to remind her of the light that still existed somewhere deep within. "I can't leave you." "Then you'll lose everything," the man taunted, his smile widening as if savoring her turmoil. "You're both too weak to refuse the inevitable." The shadows snarled, simmering with dark energy, but Lena steeled herself, her heart galloping in her chest. A visceral memory broke through. A summer day, sunlight streaming down as Emma chased butterflies and giggled, innocent and purely joyful. That moment flooded every inch of her being with fierce determination. "No more. I choose love over fear." Suddenly, something shifted. A sliver of light burst forth, slicing through the shadows, tinged with colors that reminded Lena of dawn. The shadows recoiled, hissing in outrage, their once insistent whispers turning into shrieks of confusion. She pressed forward, fueled by love, and for a moment, she thought she saw a flicker in Emma's eyes, as if the real girl behind the shadows was clawing to break free. "Emma, picture the park," Lena shouted, voice cracking. "The swings. Remember how you used to laugh when I pushed you higher?" Slowly, the tension in Emma's frame seemed to falter, the grip of shadows wavering against Lena's call. Emma's hand trembled in the air. "Mom, I don't know how to come back. You are stronger than this." "We both are." Lena reached out, willing herself to bridge the gap between them. The shadows writhed, violent and angry, tearing at her resolve. "Mom, they'll take you." Emma gasped, her face twisted with agony and apprehension. "If you keep fighting, they won't let go." "No." Lena cried, "I won't let them take either of us." She could sense the struggle deep within Emma, the dark promise of power the shadows offered versus the warmth they had once shared. "Join me. Embrace the shadows." The man hissed, his voice lilting, winding around her mind with venomous sweetness. But Lena felt the surge of power coursing between her and Emma. "You'd rather have a husk of your former self," she shouted defiantly. I choose to fight for my daughter, not to become what terrifies me. The shadows screamed, their urgency escalating, and the world vibrated with their rage. Lena's heart pounded. Time was slipping. She didn't have much left before the darkness regained control. Emma, listen. I need your strength. You can come back. We can fight together. Please. As if pulled by an unseen force, Emma hesitated, caught in the nexus of choice. A moment stretched into eternity. Lena's vision blurred as darkness surged, angry, chaotic. Mrs. Shadow's fingers nipped at the edges of her existence, gnashing and clawing like starved beasts. Emma's breath trembled slowly, weighing down the space between them. What if I can't? Lena felt her chest constrict painfully, her resolve wavering. But what if you can? The shadows roared, thrashing violently. In that swirl of despair, Lena recognized the shifting shards of doubt and fear within her daughter, hollow promises disguised as seductive power. She could almost hear the whispers of the past being silenced by a greater truth. Embrace your light. A stark silence fell in the moment, a tangible tension crackling like electricity. But as the shadows surged again, Lena didn't struggle. Instead, she fell into the notion that love could be stronger than any dark promise. Would Emma hear her in time? In a world teetering on the brink of chaos, would the child she loved still find her way back? With the shadows closing in, the air thickened. Danger loomed, but Lena knew this was only the beginning. In the clash of light and darkness, would they emerge whole, or would the shadows consume them both? Lena's heart raced as the shadows rippled violently, an angry sea of darkness threatening to drown her in fear. She felt their cold fingers clawing at her skin, vicious and relentless. Breathing grew shallow, and each inhale was accompanied by the bitter scent of despair, the stench of the very dark she fought against. Mom. Emma's voice trembled, sharper now, laced with urgency. I want to come back. I just don't know how. Lena locked onto that desperation. Hope, frayed as it was, flickered like a candle in the night. You have to want it. Picture us together again, your laughter, our moments with each word. The shadows hissed louder, an enraged chorus that vibrated through the air, mixing with the wild thunder of Lena's heart. The man smiled wider, his presence growing more palpable, a dark cloud overshadowing her. This is futile, Lena. She's mine now. Let her fall into the void. It will be easier than fighting. But fighting was all Lena had ever known. She straightened her back, determination boiling within her. No. You're wrong. Suddenly, a powerful wave of energy surged from her core, rippling outward as if it could shatter the darkness. The pulling sensation lessened for a heartbeat. Was it her strength, or? Embrace the shadows, Emma, the man crooned, his voice echoing in the confines of her mind like a twisted lullaby. They'll give you power beyond imagining. Freedom from this fragile shell. Mom. Emma screamed, her eyes wide with confusion, caught at the intersection of two worlds. What do I do? Trust your heart. Lena shouted, throwing every ounce of love she possessed into her voice. Shadows snarled like beasts, responding to the warmth they found so threatening. Remember our dance in the kitchen? How you laughed when I spun you around? The tug of shadows began to falter. Was she getting through? Emma's frame seemed lighter, the shadows around her flickering, retreating like a tide drawn back. Lena sensed a shift. You are stronger than you realize. Fight them with all that you are. Remember the light you carry inside. Emma's breath hitched as she began to shake, trapped in the battle between fear and the yearning for her mother's love. I can't hold on. Yes, you can. Please. Lena extended her hand, every fiber of her being urging her daughter to fight. The shadows snarled in defiance, their clawing fingers curling toward Lena with malicious intent, threatening to sever their fragile connection. You're playing a losing game, Lena. Let her go, it will be easier. Shut up. She roared, defiance rising like a fire within her. Emma's gaze shifted, tracing Lena's fierce determination, and for a brief moment, doubt wavered in her eyes. Mom, I want to fight. Then it's time to choose. Love over fear. Light over darkness. With those words, a blinding beam pierced through the shadows, solid and bright. It felt like warmth from a million suns, surging between Lena and Emma, driving the encroaching darkness back. Stay with me, Emma. Don't let go. Lena cried. Emma clutched at the air, her fingers stretching toward Lena's hand, a frenzied glare of determination igniting behind her eyes. For a fleeting moment, hope flared like a beacon, breaking through the ominous clouds swirling around them. But just as it seemed the shadows were dissipating, a dark laugh echoed through the chaos. You think that light can extinguish me? I thrive on your hope. You can't win. Lena's heart dropped as the shadows roared back, fiercer than ever, threatening to engulf everything they held dear. Emma! She cried, her voice breaking as the swirling darkness closed in, causing the warmth to flicker like a dying candle. Would they withstand this final onslaught together, or would the crushing heaviness of despair drag them back into the abyss? The air crackled with tension. Lena grasped tightly to that flicker, and that desperate belief that, somehow, they would both emerge unscathed on the other side. But with the shadows closing in, Lena knew the battle was far from over. What terrible truths awaited them beyond this moment? The darkness howled, a feral beast rage-stricken as Lena's words ignited a flame in Emma's soul. Just as it threatened to suffocate them, the shadows recoiled slightly, almost startled by the intensity of love radiating from Lena. But this respite was fleeting, darkness clawed its way back, bristling with fury, and as if powered by the very despair they fought, it surged forward with terrifying purpose. Come to me, Emma. The man's voice slithered through the chaos, intertwining like a serpent around Lena's resolve. You were never meant to be confined to this light. They want to control you. Join me, and I'll show you boundless freedom. Mom, I'm scared. Emma wailed, her voice now a thin, quivering thread that hung between the two worlds. Amid the whirl of chaos, a single tear rolled down her cheek, shimmering for a moment before vanishing into the shadows. Don't let him confuse you. Lena shouted, the syllables tearing from her throat as her instincts screamed at her to protect her daughter from the stranglehold of deceit. Remember who you are. Think of all our dreams, our future. You belong in the light. But even as she cried, Lena felt the chill of doubt creep inside her. What if darkness truly did promise power? What if she had failed Emma? The shadows loomed large, swallowing her thoughts, and Lena fought against the tide threatening to drown her in despair. Look around. The man's tone had shifted to sweet persuasion. Here, you have no limitations. Your power will flourish in the shadows, Emma. He gestured dramatically toward the swirling mass, forming grotesque shapes that writhed like tortured souls, demonstrating the allure of freedom within darkness. With every second ticking by, Lena's heart pounded louder, a frantic metronome measuring the gravity of their situation. Emma, please. You're not alone. I'm right here, fighting for you. She felt herself trembling, for she saw the almost magnetic draw of the void, subtly reaching toward Emma, threatening to claim her like a thief in the night. Choose now. Choose love. Lena implored, desperate to etch that choice into Emma's heart, even as shadows raged above them like crashing waves. The ground beneath them pulsed, a sinister heartbeat that matched the rhythm of their fear. Mom, Emma whispered, her voice wavering, but underneath, a flicker of hope echoed. Help me. Lena seized that moment, the flicker growing into a flame. You can do this. Fight back. Remember your brave spirit. She held her hands wide, imagery of connection pulsing around them like an ethereal bridge. We are connected always. Whether you accept it or not, she's mine, Lena. The man laughed, a chilling sound that sent shivers racing down Lena's spine. This is the end for you both unless you release her forever. How much longer until hope suffocates? The shadows swirled closer, and Lena felt the very air grow thick. Never. She screamed, feeling each syllable ripple through her, pushing back against the creeping darkness. Then it happened, a surge of energy. Lena's defiance shifted the tide, sending a ripple through the dark mass swirling around them. She could see Emma's spirit rise briefly, flickering like a candle refusing to be snuffed out, but just as the shadows seemed to falter, Lena saw them shift. Spiked tendrils burst forth from the depths, reaching out toward Emma, zipping through the air like lightning bolts. "Let go, Emma. Trust me," Lena shouted, her voice raw, but filled with an unwavering fierceness. The shadows roared, furious at her words that fueled Emma's resistance. Would Lena's unwavering love be enough to shatter the darkness? An explosion of energy enveloped them, and just as Lena felt the tide turn one last time, she locked eyes with Emma. "We'll face this together." But that glimmer of hope twisted as the shadows thrashed violently. Their cries of despair crescendoed, weaving together a horrifying tapestry of terror. As Lena reached out, she gasped. What unwelcome truth would she discover next? Lena's breath came fast and shallow, the all-encompassing darkness vibrating with rage as it fought against her resolve. "You don't have to do this," she cried, clutching onto Emma's fleeting spirit with all her strength. The shadows hissed around them, clamoring to swallow her words, but the flicker of hope in Emma's eyes refused to extinguish. "Mom, I want to find my way back," Emma gasped, the unmistakable vulnerability clouding her determination. "But I don't know how." Lena leaned forward, screwing her heart into one desperate battle cry. "You remember our laughter, the happy moments, the light in our family. Those memories are stronger than any shadow you face." With each pulse of emotion, the shadows recoiled like beasts wounded by light, but the man, the architect of this twisted chaos, stepped forward, darkness pooling around him, eyes glinting with a mixture of amusement and dominance. "You both don't realize, do you? The truth is that darkness is where you find your true strength. You were never meant to be confined." His voice wrapped around them like a noose, suffocating their hope. "No," Lena shouted, voice laced with fervor. "Darkness is not strength, it's a prison." "A lie." Suddenly, something shifted in Emma's gaze, a spark of recognition. "Mom, I see it. It's all a trap. I can't let it win." She pulled away from the shadowy tendrils, leaning into her mother's light. But the man laughed, menace dripping from his words. "You think this love can save you? It only binds you. Choose power, Emma. Choose me." "Never," Lena roared, heart racing as she felt the ethereal bridge of love stretch between her and her daughter. "You're not just Emma, you're my Emma. You're stronger than he knows." With a grunt of determination, Emma hurled herself back toward Lena, the darkness roaring in fury as it lost its grip. "Let the shadows fall away," Emma cried, her voice a clarion in the tempest. In response, the shadows roared, clattering angrily, but Lena and Emma stood firm. "Together," Lena shouted, the words transforming into a rallying battle cry, bending the darkness back. Lena thought of all the moments they shared, the warmth of a sunny day, the ringing laughter echoing through the kitchen. "Emma, remember when you chased butterflies? You were unstoppable." With those memories awash in her heart, Emma's resolve deepened. "I am unstoppable." Her spirit surged, pushing against the oppressive shadows. A luminous force ignited between them, brightening the suffocating air that clung like a shroud. "No!" shrieked the man, his authority unraveling like thread before a storm. But Lena gripped Emma's hand tightly, the energy between them sparking into a bright orb of light. "Stay with me." Each heartbeat was a reminder of the love they shared, ebbing and flowing against the onslaught of darkness as they forged ahead together. As the light broke through, a breathtaking clarity flooded the room. The shadows writhed and twisted, desperate to cling to what they had nearly claimed. "You think you've won?" the man jeered, but the embodiment of their connection was undeniable. In a climactic moment, Lena and Emma turned toward the darkness and combined their light, their hearts igniting with a powerful force of defiance. "We choose love. We choose each other," they shouted in unison, reverberating through the chaos with a newfound strength. The blinding flash erupted, scattering the shadows like ashes in the wind. The room trembled with power as the man's face twisted with fury, the darkness collapsing around him in a tempest of despair. Then, as quickly as it started, it was over. Lena blinked against the afterglow, the room transformed no longer a treacherous workshop but a soft haven, illuminated by golden light. Free of the twisting shadows that once threatened to ensnare them, Lena and Emma stood together, breathless yet invigorated. "Mom, we did it," Emma whispered, tears spilling down her cheeks but now shimmering with relief rather than fear. "Yes, sweet girl, we did," Lena replied, pulling Emma into a fierce embrace, feeling every echo of love radiate between them. "I was scared," Emma admitted, her voice muffled. "But it felt like you believed in me more than I believed in myself." "That's the power of love," Lena murmured, pulling back to gaze into Emma's eyes, their connection stronger than ever. "Together, we are unstoppable." For the first time, they could see each other clearly, no darkness, no lies, just the bond of a mother and daughter standing united against whatever the world might bring. As the remnants of shadows faded into distant memories, Lena smiled, wrapping her arms around Emma. "Let us fill our life with laughter again," she suggested brightly, ready to face the world beyond, hand in hand. "Yeah, let us make a new start," Emma nodded, a new light dancing in her eyes as she stepped forward, and together, they walked out of the darkness, the past behind them like a fading storm as they stepped into the warmth of the light. Now, even brighter days awaited. You need to subscribe now to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Smash the like button now to feed the algorithm and help us reach more people who need to hear these amazing tales. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this ending. I want to hear your thoughts, and don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Your support makes all the difference.